Magnis Energy Group, a company promising to do the entire battery shebang, from having their own lithium-ion battery technologies, starting up a huge graphite operation in Tanzania, and producing their own batteries in-house. That's what the entire company is trading for, just a $350 million market cap. And Today we are taking a look under the hood of this very interesting company. Thanks to one of you guys, since this video is another installment of analyzing your stock picks, the series where I, analyze your stock picks. Let's get right into the analysis with first a company overview. Starting off with this schematic, 3 segments of the business we should all look into separately. And since I love graphite so freaking much, we'll start off with their graphite business in Tanzania. As most of you probably know, graphite makes up roughly 95% of any anode in a lithium-ion battery, and the anode makes up roughly 50% of the internal workings of a battery. So Magnis is developing their own graphite resource in Tanzania to ensure access to this super important material. That graphite resource is called the Nachu property, and it looks something like this. The company hopes to extract up to 220,000 tons of graphite per annum, which is an insane figure by the way. And this is the latest public feasibility study for the Nachu property, which the company is, as we speak, updating before they hopefully start finally developing the Nachu property. But the company is forecasting an operating cost per ton of around $500, which is really competitive, for example, compared to the numbers of Nouveau Monde Graphite. Also, the company is expecting a pre-production CapEx or capital expenditure of around $300 million, which isn't a lot of money for the output they are expecting. So from a cost point of view, it all seems to make sense. And the property seems to have an initial life of mine of around 15 years, which is a bit shorter than what you would hope for, but nothing to sneeze at. Also important to note, Magnis has secured a binding offtake agreement for 600,000 tons of graphite concentrate over a 6-year period. And apparently further offtake discussions are underway. So that is the Nachu property, a low-cost graphite mine which is actually able to poop out a lot of high purity graphite at a mind-boggling pace. The only negatives I have been able to find are first the low life of mine, and second the fact that the company seems to be years out from actual production. Do with that what you will, but now onto the battery technology. And well, that technology starts with C4V, which is allegedly a cutting-edge lithium-ion battery technology company based in New York. Apparently those C4V batteries offer up to a 20% higher energy density than LFP cells, which stands for lithium iron phosphate battery cells. Also, these cells have been commercially tested and have shown some really good traits, for example, vastly extended battery life, greater safety, lower cost, and improved charge performance. Of course, that all sounds amazing, and apparently the company has all these external partners to vouch for their performance. Fun fact, this includes American Battery Technology Company, which is actually a battery recycling company we have covered in a previous installment of this series, so the link to that video can be found right here. It is important to note that C4V is just a partner and not a subsidiary of Magnis, but Magnis does hold the exclusive rights to use these technologies in the US. So that is the battery technology side of the business covered. If you are thinking about investing in this company, I would highly recommend fact-checking the claims made by C4V about the battery technology. However, to keep the video compact and more importantly easily digestible, we'll now focus more on the battery manufacturing side of the business. And really, this is where both the graphite and the battery tech come together. At MNSEF, a subsidiary fully owned by Magnis Energy Technologies. Important to note, MNSEF uses a non-China based supply chain and produces one of the greenest batteries in the world. The company has leased a huge plot of land and hopes to build this facility on that land in Townsville, the US, with a planned battery capacity production of up to 18 gigawatt hours, which is an enormous figure. However, this plant isn't operational just yet, but the company does hope to start up mass production of these cells somewhere in 2022. In fact, in a recent news report, the company states a planned production starting in August, which is basically right now. And by 2023, this plant should be producing up to 1.8 gigawatt hours of battery capacity already, which would be an amazing milestone to achieve. So those were the three segments of the business. First the Nachu graphite property, then the battery technology, and lastly the battery production, where it all comes together. And this is what we can expect of the short-term future of Magnis. The beginning of fully automated production at the battery manufacturing facility, of which they did miss the deadline of Q2, but Q3 would also be pretty awesome. Also, the company hopes to secure funding for extra plant capacity on a pretty short-term basis. And regarding the graphite project, we are awaiting an updated bankable feasibility study, and really we are also awaiting the required funding for the Nachu property. So the short-term future of Magnis contains a lot of exciting milestones, and perhaps also a bit of dilution. I say that because the company is sitting on a cash position of just 100 million Australian dollars. While this is a lot of money, it surely isn't enough for all of their grand plans. However, that is something to be aware of. Seeing the huge cash position, you are basically paying just $315 million for the entire company. I say that because the company is trading at a 315 million Australian dollar market cap, and if we extract that 100 million Australian dollar cash position, the company is really worth about 215 million Australian dollars. And honestly, in the future, if the company executes on all of their insane plans, this company will be worth a significant multiple of the current market cap. Maybe 20x, maybe 30x, maybe even 50x the current market cap. If the company really starts to produce up to 38 gigawatt hours of battery capacity by the end of this decade, well, the sky would be the freaking limit. Now the question that you should ask as a potential investor is, how likely is the company to execute on their plans? What are the real operational risks? And perhaps most importantly, how much dilution is actually in the books? If you can answer all those questions and are still bullish on the long-term prospects of the company, well, then and only then you can really start thinking of investing in this company. And that is all from my side today. Hopefully you enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it. And with that said, thank you so much for watching. I love you all. Peace.